thought I would make a little video today with me making our homemade yogurts. So if you watched the video before, I made some fruit smoothies and popsicles with the boys, and I used my homemade yogurt. We are running low, so I'm gonna do that today and just show you how I do it. Okay, so I don't have a tripod or anything, so hopefully this works out well. What I use though is a gallon of milk. I use whole milk. You could use skim milk, 2%, whatever you like, but we use whole milk. And then I use my Instapot, and I change out the rings. Right now I have red in for cooking like meat and stew and stuff. Okay, and then I replaced the ring, or I guess the seal, with my clear / white, whatever you want to call it, one. And this is what I use just for making yogurt, and I change it every time so I know it's clean and that it's just ready for my yogurt every time. Next, I have a timer, or not a timer, a thermometer. I guess it is a timer too, but a thermometer. I set it to 180, and I'll explain in a little bit. The thermometer. And then next, what you want is yogurt culture. This is just a jar of yogurt that I have left. I've kept it back purposely so I could make yogurt today. I usually use, I think it's called Fage. Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but if I do not have a yogurt starter or one of the boys found my stash that I keep back, then I use that. You don't need much, probably like 1 to 2 tablespoons is what I use. Sometimes I do more, and it really, adding more I don't think really matters. I don't know. If someone else is watching this and thinks that matters, then you can comment, but for me, so far, when I've added more, it hasn't mattered. Okay, so what I do is I turn it on and I put it to saute. That way it gets nice and warm, because what I will do is I pour in my gallon of milk, then I start stirring it immediately with just like a wooden spoon, and I have it then get up to 180 degrees. If it goes a little more, I don't think it's a big deal, but you want it to at least go to 180. So I'm gonna get it on saute now, and I'm gonna start it and pour in my gallon of milk. Okay, now that I have my gallon of milk in, it's a little bubbly just from me pouring it in, but that'll go down. I immediately start stirring it with just like a wooden spoon. I don't want the bottom to get like crusty or burn even, especially when it's on, excuse me, saute. You could do this in a pot on your stove, same thing. I just like doing it all in the Instapot, so I'm not having to transfer bowls if you're using an Instapot. So I'm gonna wait a few minutes, probably like 5 minutes, and then I will stick the thermometer in and just see what temperature is at, and to go from there. So in a sense, what you're doing here is pasteurizing the milk. You're just gonna let it get up to 180 degrees Fahrenheit, and pasteurizing the milk. Okay, so I've checked the temperature quite a few times, and I continue to stir the pot. I was just thinking too to look here, you know, as it heats, or it shows your, just how far you are, I guess, in the Instapot. That's where it's at for me right now, and the temperature, so I make sure I'm stirring it usually as I check the temperature, just to make sure it's all even. But I stick this around, I kind of move it around, and I know it's getting close here. About 172 degrees Fahrenheit. So the next thing that I do is I go over to our sink and I fill it up with cold water. Okay, so my sink is about a fourth of the way, maybe a little bit more filled here. Okay, now I'm going to take the pot and stick it in the water. Now that it's in the water, I stir it a little bit just to let it cool down. So I want the temperature to decrease to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. It can go a little bit more. You just want to make sure it is at least under, or at least it's 110 degrees, because you do not want to kill your yogurt culture that you're going to end up putting in. So now we just wait, and I'm going to come back in about 10-15 minutes to check the temperature and see if it's down to at least 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, I'm going to check the temperature here. So that's fine. I'm gonna stick it into the Instapot here, the pot back in there, and turn it on to yogurt. Okay, so now I stuck the pot back into the Instapot. I'm gonna place it on the yogurt setting. But first, I'm gonna take my yogurt here and mix some into the pot. Sometimes I will hold back milk and slowly add some yogurt into a little dish with some milk and then pour it into the Instapot, but this time I didn't, and it's gonna work just fine. As long as the yogurt cultures get in there, I think that's what matters. So I'm putting about this much in, so it kind of got stuck to the spoon weird, but I'm gonna stir that in really well here. Once I get that stirred in, I will place the Instapot on the yogurt setting, which is this side here. So go to the yogurt setting. I have it on 8 hours, which is fine, the medium heat, and all the settings are where I want it to be. I will push start and then place my lid onto the Instapot. And it doesn't matter if it's on vent or not, because it's not like it gets really hot where it needs to release any steam. So if you have it on vent or you don't, it's not a big deal. Alright, so I started the Instapot and pressed yogurt. Now I'm just going to wait 8 hours, and once it's done, I will show you what we do from there. So in the meantime, if you would like, I get out a bowl, like a nice big bowl, and a milk bag. You can just get these on Amazon. Sometimes they call them a nut bag or just a milk bag. This one, it's a little stained because I made jelly with it as well, and you can strain different things. But we will be placing our yogurt in this. That is if you want Greek yogurt. That's what I make. Otherwise, you can just keep that whey in your yogurt and eat it. And it'll just be regular yogurt. But we do like the thicker version, so I strain as much whey out of the yogurt as possible. So and in about 8 hours, we'll come back and strain our yogurt. All right, so my Instapot just went off. It's been 8 hours. Some moment of truth here. It's looking good. I'll kind of do a little shake test here. Do you see that? It's kind of like jelly. So it is ready, and I am going to strain it. You could just leave it just like this, but I'm going to scoop it out into the milk bag that I talked about earlier and strain the whey. So this is the consistency, if you can see. And then do you see the whey in there? See the kind of yellowy liquid? So I am going to strain all of that out. So I'm going to stick this into milk bag, hang it from my just knob here, and then it's gonna drip down into this giant bowl I have. I'll use a ladle instead. I kind of forgot I started doing that instead of the spatula. It's just easier to get in the milk bag. It's kind of tedious here getting it in and not spilling it everywhere. Okay, so I have the milk bag hung here with the yogurt in it, and you see it's dripping down into the bowl here. So that's all the way dripping down, and I actually will probably let that go overnight. There's just a little bit left in the pot. I'm just gonna scoop that out and either give it to the boys or just to get in a container in the fridge and eat it later. But that's it so far. So tomorrow I will just scoop it out, and I end up putting them in freshly cleaned little mason jars with lids. You can either buy the plastic reusable ones, or I end up just washing the metal, you know, just like this, and metal ones, and putting them on, and then they're good to go. So hope you liked the video. Please subscribe and give it a thumbs up if you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.